everybody, we made it! And welcome back to a very special podcast. This is the podcast in which we talk about all of your favorite TV series from yesteryear. And we're at episode 100, and I'm Patrick M. Dunn, and I'm joined here by Kat Halstead, the author.
Woo! 100! I cannot believe we actually made it to 100 episodes. How the hell did that happen, Patrick?
Yeah, we've done that. We've done at least 100 of these, plus a little more, because we've had some extras.
We've had a few technical malfunctions before, including the first time we originally did our topic for tonight.
Yes. But before we get into that, I think we should make a hot scoop announcement.
Okay, what is with you and hot scoop? That is like that and gal pals is like your favorite thing to say lately? And it's like not even a hot scoop half the time. It's like stuff I already know.
Well, to somebody it might be a hot scoop. Like somebody out there might be hot scooped by this. But I think the whole world will be a hot scoop today because we are turning our venture into a full-blown media conglomerate. We are now a media conglomerate. Do you want to drop the name of our media conglomerate for our casual and loyal fans out there?
Salty Rock Media.
Yes, because I live near the beach, you live near the mountains, and we're both salty as fuck. So, yeah.
Exactly.
So shout out to Salty Rock Media. You'll hear more about it in 2018, but we just wanted to at least get that out there for everyone that you know it exists. And so you don't like tweet us anymore and ask us like, is YouTube your big announcement? No, it's not. It's not.
No, YouTube is not the big announcement.
No, but 2018 will be lit and it will be salty as fuck. So stick around. But as you previously teased, we've tried to do this episode before, and this was in our first year of the podcast. This is like one of our. It was gonna be like our first Christmas episode, maybe like one of the first batch.
It was the second one we recorded. But something happened to the file when you were working on it. Like, it totally got corrupted.
Yeah, everything got corrupted. So your end of the audio didn't pick up for some reason for like half the episode. Like, the first half, it was okay, but the last half, it wasn't. We decided that it was probably a good thing because we were drunk as fuck when we recorded this because it took a lot of alcohol to get us through the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special. What's the official title of it?
Yes, it's the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special.
It was a 45-minute special that aired in 1985. And all right, you can buy the DVD. The DVD is fucking $20.
Yeah, but the DVD has other stuff on it too.
Like what? What could possibly be on the DVD?
It has there's behind the scene footage and like featurettes and stuff. I have it upstairs in storage somewhere.
Because I know you have the DVDs. Have you ever watched like all the special features and stuff?
Totally.
When I saw that it was $20 on Amazon, I was like, who the fuck would pay $20 for this? This thing is just ridiculous. This is fucking out of this world crazy. There's no semblance of a decent plot. It's just all a bunch of segments strung together. It seemed like it was written by like a 4-year-old who it was just coloring and someone was just like writing down everything he said.
Okay, well here's the thing. I watched this with a 4-year-old last night.
Okay.
And he thought it was the greatest thing ever. And when this came out, we were 4 years old.
Yes. So, I don't know. This is, I guess, specifically written, drawn, and directed for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, pretty much.
But when you're fucking 36 years old watching this, you keep looking at the clock every 5 minutes and like, is this thing fucking almost over yet?
Like, I kept going, what is happening? Like, I don't understand what is actually happening here. Like, what is the point of this?
Yes. It's basically a 45-minute long toy commercial for He-Man and She-Ra toy line, which was wildly popular at this time.
Yes, I had all the She-Ras. My brother had all the He-Man stuff.
Yeah, and you met in the middle.
Well, maybe not all of it, but close to it.
Yeah, I mean, there was tons of stuff. Like, I watched this special, and they do pans of a room, and you just see all the different characters, and I'm like, I had that toy, I had that toy, I had that one.
Exactly.
There's a lot of characters that are in this that don't get lines. You just see them in the background.
Yeah, they're just there. They're all like, they all gather, and it's like, oh, okay.
If you were 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, or whatever, in 1985, and you watched this, and you saw all these crazy characters, and then you saw them at Toys R Us the next day, you'd probably lose your mind and beg your parents to buy you, I don't know, Man-at-Arms and Moss Man and the monster with 2 heads, which I had. I totally had that thing.
Yes, exactly.
And then what was that thing that you DM'd me a bunch of fucking weird DMs last night, and one of them you mentioned a character called Stinkor?
Yes, they put patchouli in like the mold when they were making him, so that he would have a skunky smell.
Okay, I remember having that toy, but I don't remember the smell though. I don't know. Maybe I had like a defected one.
Maybe you got one before they put the patchouli in.
And do you know what I love about the character designs in He-Man and She-Ra?
What?
All the male characters are shaped exactly the same, except they have different heads, and all the female characters are shaped the same, except they have different heads.
Yeah, totally.
Everyone's muscular on this planet. Everyone's muscular, and all the ladies are like slim.
They're slim and busty.
Yes. So, I guess this is like a very healthy planet to live on.
Well, you know.
Eternia and Etheria.
They don't have the trappings of Earth.
All right, but before we dive into the world of He-Man and She-Ra, I just want to announce that this episode aired on Christmas Day.
Yes.
This episode originally premiered December 25th, 1985. It was syndicated, so it could have been aired on a different night in your town, but primarily it was originally to be released on Christmas Day.
What I love is Dinosaur Dracula has commercials that actually aired during the original airing of He-Man and She-Ra's Christmas special. I sent you the link last night.
Oh.
But it's all for a bunch of toys, like a bunch of random, like...
Yeah.
a bunch of toys I don't remember, and a bunch of Barbie stuff I had.
Well, I was trying to figure, like, this was a syndicated show, so was it on at night, or did this air during the day? I'm guessing this was probably on at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
I don't know. What did IMDb say?
It doesn't say. It just says the original release date was this. And then the Wikipedia page makes reference the airing dates may differ depending on where you lived. I can't imagine little kids waking up on Christmas morning and like watching this in the morning, so I'm guessing it had to have been on at night, maybe like before prime time started.
I want to say it aired at night.
It's 45 minutes, so it would have aired in an hour block, and whatever network would have had to carve out an hour for it. Instead of airing like a HR Puffin Stuff holiday special that year, they would have aired He-Man and She-Ra.
HR Puffin Stuff in 1985, Patrick.
Every year where I lived, up until the 90s, there was an H&R Puffin Stuff Christmas special on the channel that became UPN in my town.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I just remember watching it every year until I was like maybe like 12 or 13 when it became the UPN, and they just stopped airing that stuff. So I'm guessing like the year that this was on, they probably just aired this instead of H&R Puffin Stuff.
Weird.
I mean, this Christmas special, the He-Man and She-Ra one, like was like re-aired for many years, so it's not just exclusive to 1985.
I remember watching it a couple different years in a row, and then it just vanished.
I mean, it was popular when it came out.
Yeah.
As soon as the toy line faded, though, as soon as the toy line went out of print, then it just kind of disappeared from the airwaves.
Yeah, I kind of remember there was a point where I was like, I don't even remember that really happening. What are you talking about? And then my brother had like a bootleg VHS copy
of the Christmas special
that like somebody had recorded off of a recording they had made. They were like selling it on like eBay and stuff.
I think you could have I think you could rent it from the video stores. I kind of remember seeing it. You definitely could get Sword in the Stone, which was the Secret Sword. What was it called? What was the first one? The first He-Man and She-Ra movie called?
The Secret of the Sword. I have that on DVD too.
Okay, Sword in the Stone is like a Disney movie, right?
Oh yeah, The Sword in the Stone, yes. That's like the Prince Arthur.
That was when He-Man and She-Ra discovered that they are twins. They were separated at birth and they're reunited.
And what's her face? Adora was working for Hordak because he had kidnapped her as a baby and all that fun stuff.
That was the introduction to She-Ra, because I think if you get the She-Ra DVDs, that is like the first 5 episodes of She-Ra.
It is. It's the first 5 episodes, and it's just the story of how she becomes She-Ra, because she's like, I don't know what's going on. You know, she's like been raised by Hordak all this time, and she's like evil, but there's like this part of her that's still good, always fighting to break free.
Oh, it's such a deep mythological tale. But want to hear what I am, my mind is blown by?
What?
On December 25th, 1985, there was original episodes of our favorite television series on this night. Like, new shows were on.
That is wild.
Everyone had Christmas dinner, then you had to run home to watch television. You had to rush home to be home for prime time.
Dude, I'm gonna have to start, the next time I watch Scrooged, I'm gonna look at that a little differently. Like, no wonder he's got live TV.
I guess if you look at the number of episodes that were produced in, like, the 70s and 80s, they're much greater than episodes now. So, like, now a typical network series is about, like, 22, 23 episodes. They were much more back in the day. Like, some shows had, like, 30-something episodes a year.
Can we get back to that, maybe?
Like, a 22-episode season just goes on and on. Like Lost, like, the first couple of years of Lost were just way too fucking long.
No. I want more. I don't want these short, stupid little seasons. I hate these short, stupid little seasons.
I like short, stupid seasons because then you don't have these like meandering episodes and it's like we have to spend 4 weeks on like how they got to this one point. No, you can just do it in a fucking hour and shave off a couple extra weeks, and then you know what? Then you can have like the actors are freed up to do more stuff.
I don't care if they're free to do more stuff.
Yeah, but like now you can have like people can do like 2 TV shows at the same time.
I don't want them doing 2 TV shows at the same time.
How many fucking episodes of Lost was just them walking around the fucking woods? And it's like they could have just cut that out so much. And then when they got down to like the last 3 seasons, it was shorter and it was more concise and better storytelling.
No, I don't like these stupid short little seasons. I just hate them because then everybody's like, oh, no, give me an actual full fucking season of a show, not this crappy half-assed mess.
Well, I disagree. I think a 13 episode season is the right number of episodes for a season. Maybe 15 if you want to throw in a 2-hour, like a 2-hour premiere and a 2-hour finale.
So really, you want 15 episodes?
Ideally, at the most. That's why I love Marvel's The Defenders is only 8 episodes, and there's no like filler. It's just straight up the story. Stranger Things is like 8 episodes. The second season is 9, and they have like 1 extra episode in it. It's like a shitty extra episode, and it was like they could have just done without this one. We don't need to see like 11 on a side mission.
Yeah, you're totally selling me on watching that show because Kat still hasn't seen Stranger Things.
All right, well, who gives a fuck? Let's get into this wild night of television. We're going to start off with the alphabet, ABC.
What were we probably being forced to watch by our families?
I was 4 years old, so I was probably playing with my toys, so I don't think I was watching any of this.
See, like, okay, here's the thing. When I was like 4 or whatever, like I'd be playing with my toys in the family room, in the TV room, living room, whatever you want to call it, and the adults would be watching TV.
I was banished from the living room. I couldn't sit on the ground with my toys. I would be loud and stuff and like standing in front of the TV and making the pew pew noise. So I had to go to my room or...
Oh yes, I totally got the, Katie, you make a better door than you do window all the time from my cousins.
Leave the living room and go to your bedroom and play on your bed like most normal kids. All right. ABC, 8 p.m., The Insiders. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
All right. The Insiders was a mid-1980s detective series starring Nicholas Campbell, Stoney Jackson, and Gail Strickland. It only aired for 1 season in the fall of 1985. It premiered. It was directed by Bobby Roth, who went on to work on Prison Break. And the actor Stoney Jackson, who portrayed the character Mackie, he also is one of the lead dancers in Michael Jackson's Beat It.
Okay.
And the show was created on the smash hit success of Miami Vice, which it is greatly resembled to in style and content, and it came from the same production company that made Miami Vice.
Okay, that kind of makes sense then.
So that's The Insiders, but it got canceled. It didn't have quite the impact. There's no movie starring Jamie Foxx and who else is in Miami Vice, the movie? Colin Farrell? I think it's Colin Farrell.
I don't remember.
If not, I apologize. Are you ready for ABC 9 p.m.?
Yes, tell me.
All right, ABC 9 p.m., a brand new episode of Dynasty!
Whoa!
We're now in season 6 of the classic 1980s primetime soap produced by Aaron Spelling about oil tycoons in Denver, Colorado. Do you want to know what was going on in Dynasty tonight?
Totally.
All right, we're in a Rita season. Do you remember Rita?
No.
All right, so this is when, I think it was Sammy Jo was friends with like an actress lady who kind of resembled Crystal, and it's actually Linda Evans. They just gave her like a brown hair wig, and she's Rita.
Okay, classic soap thing to do.
Yep, so she comes into play. They're gonna use Rita to, I guess, get money. They like kidnap Crystal, and they use like Rita takes over. Blake threatens to divorce Rita, but I don't know if he knows it's Rita or if it's Crystal. Like I don't know who it is.
Not like Blake was the smartest man in this.
So Blake threatens divorce, which I think would ruin this plot. So Rita has to take drastic action to save the marriage. Who knows what happens? I haven't seen the season, so I'll have to catch up on it on CW The Seed. All right, are you ready for ABC 10 o'clock?
Yes.
All right, have you ever heard of a show called Hotel?
Yes, I have.
All right, so this was also a Aaron Spelling produced series. It aired for from 5 seasons from 1983 to 1988. It's based on a novel of the same name, and it's set in an elegant and fictitious hotel in San Francisco called the St. Gregory Hotel. And the series stars Anne Baxter as a rich aristocrat named Victoria Cabot, who ran the hotel with her assistant manager, played by James Brolin. And similar to The Love Boat, episodes of Hotel relied heavily on the appearance of recognizable guest stars. However, unlike The Love Boat's comedic style, Hotel branched more serious and controversial subject matters such as abortion, infidelity, rape, suicide, AIDS, homophobia, spousal abuse, and molestation. So this was like, it's like The Love Boat, but serious.
And on land.
Yeah, in a hotel. But I want to hear a hot scoop about hotel?
Okay, let's hear a hot scoop.
All right. Betty Davis appears in the pilot episode as the hotel owner, Laura Trent. For publicity, they promoted the series that she was going to be a regular on the program. However, shortly after filming, she became ill, and she was forced to withdraw from the series, and she was replaced with Anne Baxter, her nemesis in All About Eve. After Davis's health improved, they originally intended to bring her back. However, with Anne Baxter on board to fill in the matriarchal role, it was decided just to make Davis's character like an off-screen character. So they mentioned her all the time, but she was never seen again.
Ooh. Damn, they did Betty dirty.
Yes, and ironically, Davis would outlive Baxter by a few years, and she would outlive the series by a year. Anne Baxter actually passed away in 1985, December 12th, 1985. So this episode aired following her death.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if she's actually in this episode or not. We'll have to go back and look. But are you ready for notable guest stars that have appeared on the show?
Yes, please tell me.
All right. Scott Baio.
Oh, Scott.
Nicole Eggert.
Hey.
Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
Patty Duke.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Landau. Our gal pal, Emma Sams. Shout out to Emma Sams.
Hey, Emma. What up, girl?
Keeping it in the My Two Dads family, Greg Evigan also appeared on My Two Dads with Emma Sams. And Marky Post was in an episode, to name a few of the thousands of fun guest stars.
Very cool.
If you go to the Wikipedia page for Hotel, the guest stars link just scrolls on forever. You could just go on forever.
Oh, I'm sure it's the same way for Love Boat.
Yes.
And Love Boat lasted way longer.
Are you ready for CBS?
Yes, always.
All right, are you ready for a one-season wonder starring a television classic icon, Mary Tyler Moore?
Mary. You know Katie Seagal was on that show?
Yes, so Mary was her, the sitcom that aired from December 11th, 1985 to April 1986. It starred Mary Tyler Moore in her return to television after a 6-year absence. During her little absence, she did Broadway, and she was on Ordinary People.
Yeah, it's like, you better be mentioning Ordinary People, babe.
Then she decided she wanted to go back into television, so she played Mary Brenner in this, a 40-ish divorcee working at a second-rate tabloid. She was formerly a high-profile writer at a fashion magazine, which recently went out of business. She's like writing like a consumer assistance column called Helpline, which is to expose substandard business practices and products.
Yes, Mary had been at a woman's magazine called Woman's Digest, and the publisher folded it and was turning the offices over to a guns and ammo type magazine, because I watched like the first few minutes of the pilot on YouTube like yesterday afternoon.
Oh, okay. So I'm guessing people are like having trouble with like a product and they can't get answers from the company, so they seek the help of Mary Tyler Moore.
You know what? She's like an advocate, like Catherine in Webster.
Oh, yeah. So Catherine, the mom on Webster, was a consumer advocate. She helped the people who were being wronged by all these companies doing substandard business practices. There's probably, like, was there a lot of this going on in the 80s?
Probably.
Like, is this pre-Better Business Bureau? Like, what is up?
I don't know. I feel like the Better Business Bureau was around for a long time, but back then, before the internet, people didn't know how to contact who you needed to contact, maybe?
I'm guessing, you know, you fell victim to all those infomercials, and you just like saw all these products on television, and you called up and you ordered them, and they came and they just didn't do what they were supposed to do, or they, I don't know, kept charging your credit card or something, and there was like nowhere you could go for help. And I don't know, Mary Tyler Moore and the mom from Webster were there to help you. They were helped to guide you through the 80s and save your cash. So shout out to them.
Yes, totally. Shout out.
The trailblazers of exposing substandard business practices. All right, as you teased, Katie Seagal was in an episode, in the series, actually. Danny DeVito directed episodes. John Astin of Gomez Addams fame was also in this.
Wow, I gotta find like more than just a few minutes of the pilot. I want to watch this show.
I feel like it's probably something that's hard to find.
Yeah.
You know, there might have been VCRs, but not many, so you probably don't have... like a tape of this is probably not really floating around somewhere.
You'd be surprised. Like, I'm always shocked that I can find like way old soap opera stuff from like right around the time VCR started to become a thing. And it's like, wow.
I feel like a soap opera from the 80s was more popular than a like 12 episode Mary Tyler Moore show from them.
That's true, because like in the 80s, it's all about the soap operas. I've been watching like true crime shows, the 1980s, the deadliest decade, and every so often like a soap opera plays an important part in the murder.
Nice.
Like there was one where the murder victim was just like such a huge All My Children fan. Like it kept coming up that she wanted to basically be Erica Kane, etc. and stuff like that. So
all right, are you ready for CBS 8:30?
yes, tell me.
An all-new episode of Foley Square, which this was a short-lived CBS sitcom that starred Margaret Collin as Alex Harrigan, who is a perky, dedicated, unmarried assistant district attorney who works in a district attorney's office in New York City, and her boss is a veteran prosecutor who has seen it all. Alex feels overlooked when it comes to working with him. So a woman works for a man and the man is bringing her down kind of sitcom and is probably supposed to rise to power and never makes it because the show got canceled. But Margaret Collin would later go on to star as Margot Hughes on As the World Turns.
Okay, I was like, I know this name, but I couldn't like place it.
Perhaps you know her from Gossip Girl. She was Eleanor Waldorf Rose on GG.
Yes.
So I don't know. Shout out to her. This was her. This was Margaret Collin's like first starring role ever. Oh, and Hector Elizondo and John Lovitz also had roles in this too.
Oh, wow.
I think Hector Elizondo might have been the boss, and I don't know, John Lovitz was like the last name on the credits, so probably like a janitor maybe, I don't know.
He's like the piggish coworker who never wears a tie or anything.
His top 3 buttons are unbuttoned and you see his chest hair.
Yeah, totally that creepy guy.
Probably a womanizer.
You know what? When you watch some of these older shows, they're actually they're pretty feminist. And then there's like definitely a backtrack in the late 80s.
Yes. We saw like a rise in the 70s with like the Mary Tyler Moore Show and That Girl and all that stuff.
That Girl's from the 60s, sweetheart.
Okay. Rhoda. Maybe I'm thinking of Rhoda.
How did you get Rhoda and That Girl confused?
It was the first thing that popped in my head.
Okay.
These type of shows started to go away in the 70s when like the family-oriented shows started popping up. So you saw more shows about like family values instead of single women working in New York City and making it, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but it kind of came back in the 90s a little bit, and it runs in circles.
Very fluid.
All right, are you ready for CBS 9 o'clock?
Yes, what was on at 9 after these 2 one-hit wonder seasons?
Yet another one-hit wonder, Charlie and Company.
Okay, what is this one about?
This was CBS's answer to The Cosby Show.
Oh, God.
It follows a middle-class African-American family on the south side of Chicago. It stars Flip Wilson as Charlie. He's a middle-class employee of the like the highway patrol or something.
Mm-hmm.
He juggles his work and home life with his lovely wife, played by Gladys Knight. She's a school teacher, and they have 3 children. They have a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 9-year-old boy, played by Jaleel White.
Did I do that?
So this is pre-Urkel. Jaleel White is the youngest child. He's probably like the cute young son with like all like the funny jokes on the show. The show was only on for 18 episodes though, so Cosby it was not.
No.
We're not watching this on Nick at Night today.
No, we're not.
Or 5 years ago anyway.
Does Nick at Night even still exist?
Yeah, I think it's like George Lopez now.
Oh, God. Ugh.
A full night of George Lopez and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
No, thank you. No, thank you. They do not have the rewatchability that you need. Air them like that.
Maybe according to Jim, I don't know. Are you ready for another one-season wonder on CBS? Like,
oh my gosh. Okay, I'm starting to understand why there was new programming on this night.
Yeah,
they just had to air this stuff.
CBS has had a bad year this year for Wednesday night, so they aired another one-season wonder, the George Burns Comedy Week.
What?
Yeah, so George Burns had a comedy anthology series on CBS. He was barely on this. He only would come on like at the very beginning and just introduce the show, and sometimes he would narrate, and then the rest of the show just focused on like sketch actors. So like Joe Piscopo was in it. Don Rickles, Don Knotts appeared in episodes. At the time this show aired, George Burns was 89 years old, and he was the oldest person to ever appear on a television series. Like no one over the age of 89 has ever been on television as of this time.
Okay, that is wild. Okay, what was on next? Hurry up, babe.
All right, we've talked about this before. The Equalizer. Remember The Equalizer?
No, I don't.
All right, this was an American crime drama it was on for 4 years, from 1985 to 1989, so we're in its first season. It starred Edward Woodward as a retired espionage intelligence officer with a mysterious past, and he uses his skills from his former career to exact vigilante justice on behalf of innocent people who are trapped in dangerous circumstances. So it's kind of like a superhero-y type show, where he doesn't work for the police. He's on his own solving crime. Hold on. This is wild. Some hot guest stars on the series. A 9-year-old Melissa Joan Hart appears in an episode.
Okay.
Kevin Spacey hopefully playing a villain that gets taken down by the Equalizer. But wait, there's more.
Wow, okay.
The series was filmed in New York City. They did all their on-set location, and they employed many actors who were appearing on Broadway at the time. That included Christine Baranski!
Woo! Gal Pal.
Yes, Christine Baranski was on the show. Yeah, Gal Pal Supreme. Queen of the Gal Pals, Christine Baranski. Any questions? Any questions on the Equalizer?
No, none at all.
Is this something that you're interested in watching?
No.
I'm gonna find an app and make you watch it, Dharma Initiative style, where you're like trapped in a room, tied to a chair, and there's like 11 TVs playing episodes of the Equalizer. And you know what? Playing on one screen and one screen only, 8 episodes of Stranger Things, just because they're shortened.
I just don't get the obsession with that show.
They all can't be Girl Meets World, Kat. They all can't be Girl Meets World. Are you ready for NBC?
Oh, there's still more? There's more? Go on.
Yeah, we have a whole fucking network. We have a whole goddamn network to get through.
Okay, but let's get going, because I feel like you're taking forever on these.
All right, NBC, 8 p.m., Highway to Heaven. The Michael Landon as a probationary agent who wanders Earth. And I don't know, saves people. I don't know. I never watched it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It just seemed like way too old people-y type for me.
Yeah, it was totally like an old people show.
NBC, 9 p.m. Are you ready for a little short-lived Robert Blake drama?
Okay.
Helltown. Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Robert Blake is the priest in a church in a crime-ridden neighborhood in East Los Angeles. And End in the Night. Do you have any guesses?
None.
None whatsoever?
None whatsoever.
Saint Elsewhere.
Oh, it's the show Feeney did before Boy Meets World.
Yeah, it's about the staff at St. Eligius's Hospital in Boston, and it's kind of like a hospital show, but they dealt with the day-to-day realities of working in a hospital, and not there wasn't a train explosion next door or something, and 50 people are on their way to the ER. Instead, it's probably people with the common cold, or they got in a minor car accident, they need to get patched up.
So it wasn't as exciting as ER, is what you're saying?
No, I think it was more character driven than ER and Grey's Anatomy is.
Okay, understandable. I mean, also 1985. That kind of makes sense. That's just the way shows were.
I think the hospital drama wasn't. I think the hospital drama really takes off in the 90s. That was a wild time if you're a hospital drama.
It does. It does with ER.
Yes. And what was the other one? Chicago Hope?
Chicago Hope, yeah. Because don't you remember the drama of there being 2 hospital shows set in Chicago?
Yes. They never bumped into each other, strangely.
They never bumped into each other. They never mentioned each other. There might have been, that other hospital.
There was never a transfer, we need to go to the ER hospital because...
Nope.
Because they have better equipment.
They have the better cast.
Yeah, and you never have, sometimes people will work at 2 hospitals, so you never see the same doctor in each hospital, so...
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy.
They never had the same specialists or anything crossing over.
Someone who floats between the 2.
They never had somebody trying to recruit Peter to Chicago Hope or anything.
Yeah, maybe Chicago Hope is having struggling, and it's all right, let's get Dr. Ross over here for a few weeks. Maybe he can fix things up. He can get us more funding.
Yeah, that Doug Ross, no. That wasn't who Doug was.
He's I ain't going on the wrong side of the tracks, girl. No way. No fucking way.
No, I think the ER hospital was the wrong side of the tracks because it was the county hospital.
Oh, and Chicago Hope is the more classier one. It's where the rich people went.
It's probably the private hospital. I don't know. I've never watched Chicago Hope.
Yeah, me neither. It had some minor controversy because I think they said the word bullshit one time, and that was the first time bullshit was ever said on network television.
Wow.
But that was December 25th.
Yeah.
That was December 25th, Christmas night in a nutshell. You had all those things to watch. So many choices.
And yet I feel like I would have just watched He-Man and She-Ra and been done.
Yeah, I'm so surprised there wasn't a Sandy Duncan Christmas holiday special on or something, or even a Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life wasn't on. I don't know, that's what I was expecting to see.
Yeah, or something like A Christmas Carol, something... Anything?
I kept checking the date. I was well, hold on. This was on, right? Yeah, I was did I get the date wrong? Did I accidentally say November 25th? But no, I got it right. This was on December 25th. All of this. Anne Baxter was on our television sets in a series on December 25th. Christmas night.
Hey, do you want some fun facts about 1985?
Yes, I woke up to some of these, but do you have more?
No, I have a lot more.
Ooh, I can't wait to hear.
Okay, and I promise they're not as disturbing as the ones I sent you in DM, because I was really confused and disturbed by that one.
All right.
Okay. The top song was Say You, Say Me by Lionel Richie.
What? Really?
Yes.
For the whole year, the entire year.
It was the top song of the year, but I will tell you some other popular songs of the year, number one songs, okay?
Okay.
They are Like a Virgin
Okay.
by Madonna, started out the year. We've got Can't Fight This Feeling by REO Speedwagon.
Ooh.
Crazy for You by Madonna.
Okay. Ooh, shout out to Madonna making it twice.
Everything She Wants by Wham.
Ooh.
We've got Su Studio by Phil Collins.
Shout out to Phil Collins.
The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
Ooh, we love ourselves some Huey Louie.
Take On Me by Aha.
Iconic music video.
Saving All My Love for You by Whitney Houston.
Oh, this was like Whitney Houston's year. This is the year she like sprang onto the scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We Built This City by Starship.
Ooh.
So this was like a lit year for music. Do you want to know the top 10 TV shows?
Yes.
Okay, number 10, Who's the Boss? Number 9, Miami Vice.
Oh, yeah. Miami Vice like ruled the 80s.
Yes, the song was also quite popular, the theme. It hit like number 1 that year on the charts. Number 8, The Golden Girls.
Ooh.
Number 7, Dynasty.
Ah.
Number 6, Dallas.
Yes.
Number 5, Cheers. Number 4, 60 Minutes. Number 3, Murder, She Wrote.
Ah, shout out to Angela Lansbury, who's like making headlines today.
Number 2, Family Ties.
Yes, the Keaton family.
And number 1.
Oh, hold on. Number 1. Let me take a guess. The Cosby Show?
Yes.
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 Shout out to the Huxtables, all except for Cliff.
Pretty much. Do you want to know what the top 5 movies were?
Yes.
Top 5 movies were Out of Africa,
Okay. Never saw it.
The Color Purple,
Know it, love it.
Rocky 4,
Ooh.
Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Ooh, shout out to Sylvester Stallone.
And can you guess what the number 1 movie of 1985 was?
I was going to say Return of the Jedi, but I think that was 1984.
It's not that.
1985. Can I have a hint? Give me the third actor in it.
Leah Thompson.
Howard the Duck.
No.
Was I right?
No.
No. What is it?
Back to the Future.
Oh, was Leah Thompson in Howard the Duck?
Yes, she was.
Okay. But she's like the second name. But she's probably the first name. I don't know. Like Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck, top movie of 1985. You heard it here first.
Also, 1985 is the year of New Coke.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to New Coke.
ABC News broke into General Hospital with news that New Coke was being taken off the market.
Conspiracy Corner. New Coke was invented to get people back into old Coke.
No, the guy actually really thought they needed a new recipe.
I don't know. I feel like it's a conspiracy that the sales were slagging on regular Coke. Pepsi was the taste of the new generation. They're like, let's make New Coke.
Ugh, Pepsi's gross.
Well, I don't know. I have a deep conspiracy that they were like, you know what? Let's bring out New Coke. People will lose their fucking minds and want old Coke back. And we'll bring back old Coke, and then New Coke will just be a dirty footnote, and it'll be a joke on a podcast 30 years later.
No, the guy was serious. He really thought it needed a new recipe.
I'm going to look into this. I'm going to be up all night connecting fucking strings to push pins on my bulletin board.
Okay.
Solving this conspiracy.
Conspiracy Corner.
All right, shall we get into He-Man and She-Ra?
Just for a little more, reference of the 1985 mindset.
Okay.
This was the year that Disney released The Black Cauldron.
Oh, one of my favorite Disney movies of all time, which you can't find anywhere.
Yeah, you can't find. I don't even know if I've even seen it. Because if I did, it was once.
I definitely saw it in theaters when I was 4. I remember nothing about it. I remember enjoying it, but I had a video game based on the movie, and I also had the books. I used to read the books, and I remember reading them in the early 90s, and I always would go to the video store looking for the Black Cauldron and could never find it because it never existed. It never existed.
Yeah. It was eventually released on VHS 13 years after, so in 1999.
Ooh.
And it still hasn't even made back its half the budget they spent on it.
It did so poorly in the box office. It was just, it disappeared. And it's one of those things did it really happen? Did it actually happen? Is it real?
Heather, do you have a copy?
Heather, if you have a copy of the Black Cauldron, periscope it to us so we can watch it. All right. Shall we dive into the world of Eternia?
Yes, I feel like we have enough background information about the wild times that was 1985 to understand this show better.
Yes, so I'm not even sure where to start with this. We got muscle-bound guys and gals from like deep from outer space dealing with villains, like bad guys that are shaped like skeletons, all while having to like juggle it with an earthly religious holiday.
Yes. Okay. So the basic is it starts with they're setting up. Adora and all her friends have come back to her home planet for her birthday. Because it's like the first time she and Prince Adam get to like spend their birthday together since they found out they were twins and who she really was. So they're having like a big party. It's going to be like one of those big like kingdom festival things.
Yes, so they're all around decorating for it. They're like painting stars on the wall and hanging up banners and stuff.
Yes.
And
yeah, they're literally like painting the wall and stuff. Like what?
I want to point out that Eternia is the planet where Adam, who is He-Man, lives. Etheria is the planet where She-Ra and Adora live. So like they live on two different planets, and it's really easy to like travel back and forth between these two planets. It's not hard at all.
Yes.
You can leave Eternia, be at Etheria.
Yes, it is.
And then be back at Eternia like very quickly.
And you don't like need special like gear to travel through space. You can just ride your flying horse.
Yes, you can breathe in space. You don't need like a spacesuit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need all those like protective vessels that protect you from the vacuum of outer space and all the harsh chemicals that are out there.
Yeah, like you don't need any of that, especially if you're She-Ra.
Like, so now they're all on Eternia. They all like, the whole crew came over to Eternia. They're all like decorated, and Queen Marlena she's just there. And she's like, oh, this reminds me of my time on Earth, because this is what we would do like at Christmas time.
And the king is such a D-bag right here. F him.
Because Marlena's like, oh, like Christmas is in like 2 days.
No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. That's not what she said. You're getting confused. She says like all the decorating and the preparation reminds her of Christmas, and the king is like, oh, is that an Earth holiday? Like he was really bitchy about it. It's later when the kids are there from Earth that they mention that Christmas is a few days away.
Okay, so maybe like in her mind, maybe she knew Christmas was coming. Like she had an inkling.
But I want to know how she goes like how many damn years and never like mentions Christmas before. Like, come on now.
All right, so we have to get into Queen Marlena's like backstory. So.
Okay, she's an astronaut from Earth.
Yes.
Who crash landed on this planet and married the king.
Yeah. So she was like probably the first like female NASA astronaut. Mm-hmm. Went on some like crazy mission. Like I want to know like what the mission that she went on like that made her go so far away from Earth, where she crashed onto Eternia. Because I don't know like how far away is Eternia.
She obviously went through like a wormhole.
So there's wormholes all around the universe.
Yes. Just ask Don Lemon from CNN, because that's what he thinks happened to the plane from Malaysia. Conspiracy corner.
Well, she's the only astronaut on this on the spaceship. Apparently, she's like on a solo mission. They never mention anyone else from Earth on Eternia. She's the only person. I couldn't tell if she was like there at first like against her will, or if she just like was there and like, you know what, like who cares about my family and friends on Earth? I'm just gonna stay here because I'm gonna like marry this studly King Randor.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just gonna stay here. Why go back? Because obviously she could have gone back. They have the ability to send her back.
Yes, they may say like that it's hard to do, but they very easily go back to Earth, back to Eternia, and then back to Earth in this without much difficulty.
Yeah, there's really like the only one who really has any difficulty is Orko.
Orko is a moron. He's not the smartest in the bunch.
He's really not.
Like he might know how to do magic, but he sucks. He kind of sucks at magic too. Let's just get that out of the way.
Well, yeah, he's Orko, of course. Duh. He's the blundering sidekick.
Yeah, they needed like a quirky sidekick who is like small and magical, and he can basically get himself out of any situation. All he has to do is just like shout a spell, but that also gets him into trouble in the first place though.
Yeah. Because
we have to say what happens here. So we're outside. It's outside the party. Prince Adam and Man-at-Arms, is that his name?
Yes, Man-at-Arms.
They're working on a Sky Spy, which I guess is a gigantic spacecraft that they will use to spy on Skeletor.
Yeah, basically it's a drone.
Yeah, it's a drone, but it's 100 times larger. And you have to be in it. Someone has to man it. It's like a manned spacecraft.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of noise. Like flames come out of it because it needs to, propel through the sky. Mm-hmm. It's like, is Skeletor not going to see this? Like snooping around his castle?
Okay, first of all, it's Skeletor, so of course not. Because let's be real, Skeletor isn't the brightest villain.
No, but he's my favorite character in this whole thing. He's like, we deserve like a Skeletor spinoff.
So Orko gets into this thing and takes off.
Adam and Man-at-Arms, they like leave for a minute. I guess they're just gonna go check out the party and see like if they're ready for the party yet. And Orko is like spying on them, and he's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go check this out." So he like slips inside it, and he's like pretending that he's like flying it, but he accidentally like breaks a lever, and then starts it.
Because that's totally what Orko would do.
Basically, he's in the sky. Skeletor's like skeleton face-shaped flying aircraft just happens to be like in the area too. I don't know. Like I don't know what he was doing. It's like maybe he was like trying to like spy on the party or something. I don't know.
Probably because hello, people are having fun.
Well, Skeletor doesn't like fun.
And this is Skeletor.
He says he does not like fun.
And gang, I mean, come on.
Skeletor's spacecraft finds the Sky Spy, so they start following it. And meanwhile, like back at the home base, there's a gigantic computer screen, and Adam and Man-at-Arms, they can like watch this on television basically unfold.
Yeah, they have like screens that they can watch, but I don't know how they have like there's no cameras.
Is there like random cameras that are just all
It's like a magical like window mirror type thing.
Yeah, so it's like, why do they need a Sky Spy if they have this magic window that they can see everything?
For real.
They now know that the Sky Spy, they think it's like unmanned. They don't think anyone's in there. So they think it's just like flying through the air on its own, and Skeletor's chasing it.
So I guess it doesn't need to have somebody in there. Maybe they just like are like, maybe we should put somebody in there just in case.
That's when Queen Marlena and Adora bust in. They're like, oh my god, Orko's missing. Like just out of nowhere, Orko's missing. Like how the fuck do they know Orko's missing?
Because he's not there bugging them.
He's gone for like 6 minutes, and they're like, oh my god, Orko's missing. We need to find him.
Yeah.
So he has to like slip out and go hide somewhere and transform into He-Man.
These people don't really figure it out. There's a few times though that people figure it out. Actually, the Queen might know.
Yeah, well,
because one of Skeletor's hold on, listen to me. Golly. Oh, are you seriously trying to mansplain He-Man to me?
No, go on.
Okay. Skeletor has a lesser known henchman named Jitsu, and he only appears once during the series, but he totally figures out that He-Man and Prince Adam are the same person.
Oh.
Oh, no, that's Ram Man. Sorry. Ram Man figures it out.
Ram Man?
Ram Man, yes.
Okay.
And also, Queen Marlena figures it out, because, you know your kid.
They definitely make jokes in this about Queen Marlena's like, hey, Adora, you should ask She-Ra for help. And she's like, oh, I will. And she like winks her eye. And I'm like, how does Queen Marlena not know?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
I don't know. Adam has to like slip somewhere. Like I don't even think he like leaves the room. I think he just like waits a second for Queen Marlena to leave the room, and then he transforms into He-Man. But he has to like yell at the top of his lungs, like by the power of Grayskull, and it echoes.
I have the power.
His voice is not echoing through the whole party. Like everyone in the party is like, "Hey, is Adam really He-Man?" Like, did Marlena close the door?
Well, it's just like, come on, people.
He then jumps on like his like it's like a flying Segway, basically, is what he gets on. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, it's like a flying jet ski.
Yeah, so he like hops on it. It looks like a treadmill that's like a flying treadmill.
Yeah.
There's no protection. He's just like out in the open. There's no like glass shield around it so he doesn't blow away.
There's nothing. It's just like She-Ra riding on her horse.
Yes, there's no law of physics on Eternia either. So you can like jump from that little aircraft, land on Skeletor's aircraft, walk around like the wings of his ship, jump around on it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a TV screen on Skeletor's ship, so they can see He-Man like on the wings of it. They send these like weird cable things out that are supposed to like tie him up.
Yeah, these like long like Inspector Gadget type arm things.
Yeah, they like a wall opens up on the side of the ship, and they come out and they wrap themselves around He-Man, and like he manages to break free at first, but then too many get trapped around him, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm doomed, I'm gonna die." And that's when She-Ra just like shows up out of nowhere. Like her flying horse can apparently travel like at super speed also.
That's why his name is Swiftwind.
Oh, Swiftwind! Shout out to Swiftwind.
Yes.
She-Ra jumps off the horse, lands on the wing, cuts the cable like with her sword very easily, like she didn't have to like struggle through it. And then they punch the side of the airship, which they fuck with the wires and activate like the autopilot, so it has to go back to Skeletor's base.
Because that's totally how it works. Okay.
And this is my favorite part of the whole episode. All of Skeletor's goons, they're in the ship, and they're like, "Oh no, He-Man and She-Ra activated the autopilot. We gotta go back to the base. Skeletor gets pissed and he like hits this like ejection button, which just like shoots all the bad guys out of the jet.
Yeah, all his little henchmen.
Yeah, and gives them one parachute for all of them. And now they're all just like floating down the sky. One's like attached to the parachute and the other ones are like hanging off them.
Mm-hmm.
We never see these people again. Like these goons never show up again in this episode. So I'm like, did they die? Like, did they all fall off the parachute?
Are you sure they don't?
No, it's Hordak's henchmen who show up in later scenes.
Oh, okay.
Because I kept looking for the two-headed monster thing that's on the ship.
Yeah, I thought he showed up again.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Because it seemed like it was just Skeletor alone for the rest of it because he was trying to get away from Hordak.
Because Hordak is way scarier than Skeletor.
Yes. All right, so if you had to your left Skeletor coming at you and then to your right Hordak coming after you, I'd probably like run towards Skeletor and be like, hey, save me. Save me from Hordak.
Be like, hey, Skeletor, what up, babe? Let's go find a puppy.
Skeletor is trapped on his ship and he has to, like, it's being like sent back to base wherever the fuck it is. It must be nearby.
Wherever Skeletor hangs out, whatever.
And I'm like, why doesn't He-Man and She-Ra just try to like capture and imprison Skeletor? Like they're on his ship.
Trust me, I'm going to wonder that later on in this special. Like, okay, guys.
But instead, they want to save the Sky Spy, which they now know Orko's on it. So they hop back onto their like flying treadmill and Swiftwind. They chase the Sky Spy to space because Orko does like a weird spell that says I want to land somewhere safe. So then like the ship starts going upwards into space. And it's like, why is it going there?
Because Orko's spells never work properly.
So they chase the Sky Spy into outer space and then it hits a wormhole or something. It just disappears. Like it vanishes.
And it lands on Earth.
Yes. And what happens on Earth?
Orko meets Alicia and Miguel, two little kids who have been sent out into the woods by their parents to find a Christmas tree. Okay, who the hell is sending what? They're like maybe... Miguel's maybe 9, so we'll guess Alicia's probably like 7. Who the hell sends a 7 and a 9-year-old out into the woods to find a Christmas tree?
Alright, so all they had with them was a sled that was carrying the tree. I didn't see any tools. I didn't see like a saw or anything.
Yeah, how did they cut this tree down? Like, I have so many questions about these parents. The parents are like the worst parents possible.
Low-key, I think the parents just like hated their kids and just was like, alright, they're gonna go out in the woods. Hopefully they never come back.
So Orko meets these kids and they're cold and he's cold. Like he's never been cold before apparently. He's like, oh, it's cold. Brr. And the kids like come into his spaceship to get warm. And they tell Orko all about Christmas and Santa Claus.
The kids mention that they're lost and cold and Orko's like, I'm lost and cold too. And he's like, oh, I know, we can go to my spaceship. Like, did they not teach these kids about
stranger danger?
Yeah, like
stranger danger, stranger danger, so much stranger danger.
The 1980s was stranger danger mania. Like we had all these books, after school specials, everything. It was like never get in a car with a stranger, never take candy from a stranger, never follow a stranger anywhere. But yet they meet this weird guy. They can't even see his face, and he's floating, and he has a spaceship.
Yeah, you can't see Orko's face. He's floating. He's just wearing a dress. There's so many red flags here.
And he has a spaceship.
Yeah, like, come on. No.
So they follow him into the spaceship. The kids are worried because they're not going to be home in time for Christmas because they're lost. And Orko's like, what's Christmas? And they're like, oh, only the greatest time ever. The way they explain Christmas to Orko is funny. So they start to explain that it's like a religious holiday. But then that must have been where they like went to a commercial break because you don't get any of the Jesus stuff comes up at all.
Well, because that'll just get like really twisted with He-Man and She-Ra and we can't go there.
So it kind of just like cuts off there. And then we come back and it must be like sometime later. And then Orko's like, oh, so tell me more about these presents. And then we get this like, then they actually go into explaining Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And like we hear it.
Yeah.
And then I'm surprised they weren't like, and they'll bring you like any toy you want. Just the Masters of the Universe line or the Princess of Power line. Wink, wink.
What was it? My nephew goes, I like presents. I like Christmas. As we were watching this last night, he had great commentary.
Somehow, back on Eternia, they know that the ship the Sky Spy ended up going to Earth because they have the coordinates. Oh, no, this is what happened. They know the coordinates, and they show the computer screen, there's just like a bunch of letters and numbers on the screen, and Marlena's like, I know those coordinates. That's Earth.
Like, okay, you know them, go back.
Yes. You go back and get Orko then.
Yes.
So Marlena's like, well, I guess they're on Earth. Orko's not coming back. He's doomed there forever. But then Man-at-Arms is like, wait, hold on. There is a way. There's a way we can do it.
Yeah, we just need this crazy water crystal from under the water of Etheria with some creepy monster guarding it.
Yeah, so I love that Man-at-Arms invented a machine which has the capability of going back to Earth, but it involves an item to run it from a different planet.
Like, come on, dude.
Because it's Etheria, that's where the water crystal is. She was like, "Oh, I'll go. You know, I know exactly." My friend, the mermaid, Mermista, was that her name?
Yeah, Mermista. The only friend who's apparently not here.
Yes. Well, maybe there wasn't like a pool of water she could sit in. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think she shows up later because I remember seeing like a mermaid lounging around on something.
Like on a rock.
Yeah. Or not on a rock, on like a couch or something.
She takes off to Etheria. She goes to like the mermaid pond or wherever the hell she lives. And she talks to Mermista. Mermista's like, "Oh, I know exactly where the water crystal is, but it's being guarded by the most dreaded monster in all of the universe, the Beast Monster."
Yes.
And it's the easiest monster to defeat. It takes them like a whole like 2 seconds.
It really was. It took like no time at all. Like my nephew was like, "Oh my god, can She-Ra do this? Can She-Ra do this?" It was actually really adorable to watch.
So they go to like the Beast Monster lair. It's like a creepy looking pond, like in the ruins of Etheria. You just see all these like torn down buildings and stuff, and it looks like a graveyard or something.
Yeah.
And there's like the water's dark there, and She-Ra shows up. She's looking around like, "Oh, I don't see no beast monster." Then he comes out of the water. It's just like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something, like a Godzilla creature.
Yeah, it's just like a mishmash of dinosaurs tossed together.
So he comes out of the water. He starts chasing She-Ra, and then the beast monster trips over something and like falls into a ditch, and he can't get out.
Was this when She-Ra turned her sword into a lasso?
Oh, yeah. I think it...
And tripped him?
Yeah, and tripped the beast monster, and the beast monster like fell in a ditch.
Yes. This is where She-Ra went from being not cool to, of course she can do this, Aunt Cat. She's She-Ra, the princess of power.
She had that. She's got this. This bitch has got this. So then Marissa's like, "All right, now that the beast monster's not here, I'm going to go get the water crystal." She goes underwater. A second later, she comes back up and goes, "I got it."
And she was just like sitting there on her knees, patiently waiting.
Just waiting. Just like, "Oh, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Marmista.
You.
All right, well, I'm going to go back to Eternia and we're going to have a party. You can't come now." Before She-Ra can leave, the Monstroids show up.
Yes, these like crazy Transformer type things.
Yeah, they're like knockoff Transformers. They turn into...
They're like Transformers meet Inspector Gadget.
They don't transform into anything. They just like extend, their arms extend, and that's it.
And they can maybe bundle themselves up into like a fly.
Yeah, it's not like they turn it into like a boombox or a truck or a jet, like something cool like the Transformers turned into. I don't know, like, was this supposed to be like a failed toy line or something?
Maybe them and the Manchines.
Because the Manchines are like the good Monstroids. They're the enemies of the Monstroids.
Yeah, they're like these little cute things that are basically little cars and stuff like that, and little bicycles. They zip around.
Before the Manchines show up, She-Ra has to fight them alone. For some reason, they just like give up and they just take off.
Yeah, like they put her in a force field and she like... makes it like she takes her sword and like makes a cut and then kicks it out, and she's just like, "Okay, what's next, boys?"
It's funny though because she watches the Monstroids take off and she's like, "I have a feeling I won't be seeing the last of them." And that's when I looked at the clock and I'm like, there's 30 minutes left. Of course we're gonna see them again.
Oh, of course.
So she heads back to Eternia. I don't know, 10 minutes later, she's there.
Yeah, she's back. She's got the crystal. They're going to bring Orko back. Why are they bringing Orko back? Do they want Orko back, or did they just want the spy thing back? That's the real question.
Honestly, I think they wanted the Sky Spy back because Man-at-Arms probably spent like years working on this, like years of his life.
Yeah.
So they activate the transporter beam or whatever it was called.
Yeah, whatever it is with the water crystal.
So this part's even better. So if Orko wasn't a kidnapper before, now he definitely is, because they're in the Sky Spy on Earth. I guess in order to get transported back to Eternia, you just had to step into the light. And Orko tells the kids to come with them. Like, all right, we're going to take you off Earth. I don't even know if you'll ever be able to make it back.
I don't even know. It's like, okay, it's like the thing and their sled with the tree that was sitting outside of it all just transport.
So now they're back on Eternia, and the two kids hop off the Sky Spy. And He-Man's like, who the fuck are these kids? Like, oh my, like what is this? And then Marlena sees the sled, I think, and she sees the tree, and she's like, oh, it's a Christmas tree. Oh, it must be Christmas. Yeah, I guess you were right.
It's like, uh-oh, Orko, what did you do?
This part's funny. So then Marlena's like, all right, can we just transport the kids back to Earth now? Like, now that they're here? And Man-at-Arms is like, no, we have to wait like 4 days in order for it to work.
Yeah, we gotta let the crystal charge again. Like, what?
She-Ra couldn't just
Bitch!
She-Ra can't just go grab another water crystal. Like, I'm sure there's another one just chilling at the bottom of like that beast beast monster lake.
No, there's only one. This is the only water crystal.
That was the only water crystal in all of the universe.
It's the only one. It's the only one. And Man-at-Arms needed it to power this machine.
And they found it in 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If there's only one, how did Man-at-Arms know that it would power the machine if he didn't have it to test it?
I don't know. I just don't know.
Was it just like a theoretical?
Yeah, probably.
He's like, you know what?
It just needs that water crystal from Etheria. That's all it needs.
That's all it needs. I have a feeling it will work, but I haven't tested it out yet. Because I'm like, if he had one.
I mean, worst comes to worst, Orko stays on Earth.
Yeah.
I can always build another Sky Spy.
I would watch that spin-off, like Orko on Earth.
Well, I just love is the first time Orko showed up on the screen, my nephew goes, is he a bad guy?
I mean, he kind of does have like a bad guy look to him, though.
But he also asked if Skeletor was a zombie.
Oh, okay.
So...
All right, so now we're in Eternia, the kids are there, and Marlena knows it's Christmas, and she feels bad because the kids probably won't be home till like December 27th. She wants it to make it seem like Christmas for the kids, so they decide to turn Adam and Adora's birthday party into a joint Christmas and birthday party, so that way the kids don't feel left out.
We should ask our friend Steven how that goes.
Yes. Nobody understands like what Christmas is, so there's this one girl, I guess she has magic powers, she can make... She can just like flick her wrists and all of a sudden she can change the environment basically. She makes it look like a spring day. So she makes all these like flowers grow out of the ground and trees and like rainbows. And then the kids are like, oh no, Christmas is like a cold and dreary time. It's snowy. And she's like, oh, sorry, might be.
Yeah, she's like, I'll make it look like spring.
Yeah. So then she flicks her wrist and there's snow and the kids
It's so stupid.
The kids are excited. There's snow. And then
Well, there was already snow.
Yeah, exactly. There was like a little bit of snow. Not a lot.
Like, okay, she could have made some pine trees or something. She didn't need to make these crazy, ridiculous spring flowers.
Well, she doesn't know.
And the kids are too polite to tell her.
She didn't get a 30-minute explanation. The kids didn't really know her that much. They didn't like her as much as Orko, so they didn't sit around and tell her about Christmas.
These kids are just getting tossed around to different friends of He-Man and She-Ra. Like, you go hang out with Bo and Perfumia for a while, and we're gonna go do grown-up stuff. They'll keep you entertained, and then they'll sing you a song.
There's an Eternia Christmas song, which it's just like the song is just says peace and joy and harmony over and over again. Bo is playing his little...
No, it's caring and sharing, something ridiculous like that.
It went on for an uncomfortably long period of time, though.
Yeah, it did.
That is when... hold on. Before we get here. Hordak and Skeletor are summoned to their boss, Prime Horde?
Horde Prime.
Horde Prime. Okay, so they're summoned to see Horde Prime because when the kids arrived on Eternia, Horde Prime sensed danger in the air. He sensed like a spirit, like a cheerful spirit, and he didn't want that on his home planet.
Yeah, it's like... No, he becomes obsessed with like getting rid of these kids.
Hordak and Skeletor are assigned with the task of bringing the kids to Prime Horde. Whoever brings him the kids first will be rewarded handsomely. Skeletor knew where the kids were because he just shows up at the Eternia Castle.
Well, because he's not a total idiot. He's like, there's kids here from Earth. They're probably with the king and queen, Prince Adam, and Princess Adora.
Because I think he knows that Queen Marlene is from Earth, so maybe he ties it together.
Yeah.
And Hordak's from another planet. He's from Etheria, so he might not know the landscape as well.
I mean, he is the one who kidnapped Adora, though.
But he lives on Etheria, though, so he probably doesn't know the shortcuts and stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
But Skeletor does. So...
Maybe not. And then he has to gather his minions, too.
Yeah, he has to go back, get all his minions. Skeletor's like, fuck my minions, I'm just gonna go on my own. So he shows up in his Skeletor copter, whatever the fuck it's called, and he uses his tractor beam, and he takes the two kids. Does he take Orko?
No.
He just takes the... Okay, yeah, he just takes...
No, he didn't take Orko.
He takes the two kids. Nobody does anything to stop it. Like Bo and the girl with magic superpowers doesn't stop it. They just sit there and watch the kids go up into the craft on the tractor beam. And then Skeletor takes off. He's heading towards, I don't know, wherever Horde Prime lives.
Wherever they're going. We don't know. We just have no clue.
Yeah, it's like in the mountains. That's all I know.
Yeah.
He-Man and She-Ra are chasing after Skeletor's thing. Hordak's also chasing after them. The Monstroids show up again. I don't know, like all this like weird stuff just happens all at the same time.
Yeah, like it's just like suddenly a clusterfuck of a hot mess of characters fighting each other. You don't know what's going on. There's a little puppy, Manchine. It's just wild.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is what transpires. So Skeletor's ship crashes and he's in like the mountain range, I guess, and it's really cold. The kids are cold.
He's like in the tundra area.
Yeah, it's like a frozen tundra. There's snow everywhere. It must be like negative 40 degrees there. The kids are crying because they're cold. Skeletor feels bad, so using his magic staff, he makes jackets for them.
Yeah.
And how do the Manchines get there? Like, I can't remember.
I don't remember either. Like, they just showed up.
They show up. The Monstroids show up too. So there's like a battle between the Manchines and the Monstroids, like while Skeletor's there. And then the Manchines leave, the Monstroids leave, and except for like one Manchine puppy who like takes a liking to the two children for some reason. And Skeletor.
Yeah, to the two kids and Skeletor.
So now...
You can't forget that this little doggy Manchine thing likes Skeletor.
Skeletor is now walking the kids back to Prime Horde's lair. The kids start explaining Christmas to Skeletor. He's like starting to succumb to the Christmas spirit. He's like, oh, I think I might like Christmas. But no, I'm Skeletor, I'm evil. I don't like things that are fun.
No. He has the best line, which I am 100% sure I'm going to hear repeated 1,000,000 times this Christmas season by my nephew. And it is, if I can find it. Oh, I actually tweeted it out. I didn't just send it to you. It is, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil.
So the two kids are like, you don't like fun, Skeletor? And Skeletor's like, fun? The only like fun is just like punching people. And they're like, no, like fun is like opening presents.
And he's like, that explode?
Yeah, and they're like, no, it's things you want, like goodies and toys and new clothes. And Skeletor's like, no, maybe, you know what? Maybe I do like Christmas. And that's when Hordak shows up and He-Man and She-Ra at the same time. So now there's this like epic battle between Skeletor and He-Man and She-Ra and Hordak. It's like a three-way fight. While all this is going on, Hordak manages to kidnap the two kids. But Skeletor stops it?
Yeah, like, Skeletor ends up saving the kids.
Yeah, he saves the kids.
Because basically he has his Grinch moment, and his heart has grown 3 sizes.
So Hordak now escapes. He takes off. So now it's Skeletor, He-Man and She-Ra, the two kids, and like Orko might be there or something. I don't know, someone else is there. And they're all like, hey, Skeletor. And Skeletor's like, hey, what's up? And then, I guess you can have the kids now because I really don't care about this money that Prime Horde was offering me. So yeah, take the kids. And He-Man's like, thank you, Skeletor.
Skeletor is right there. They could totally bring Skeletor in and throw him into the dungeon once and for all. Take away his magic staff. And they don't.
Yeah, they can be done with him. They don't. They're like, oh, well, have a nice holiday, Skeletor. And Skeletor's like, I will. I want to go back to my lair. I have no more minions because I threw him off a plane.
Yeah, it's like, I'm just
I'm gonna be
off.
alone.
Bye. Peace out.
Yeah, and then the Manchine dog comes up and licks Skeletor one last time before he goes, just to say goodbye to Skeletor.
Yeah, and Skeletor's like, aw, cute puppy.
Then they go back to the Christmas birthday party. They have a great time. They sing some more songs. They open presents. It's a great time. There's food. Mermister finally shows up.
Mm-hmm. She's just lounging around.
She finally gets invited.
Santa is there.
Yeah, Santa's there. I'm surprised they didn't invite Skeletor. I was waiting for a throwaway line. Like, he would be like, hey, Skeletor, why don't you come back to the party we're having?
Yeah, seriously.
You know? Get a little tipsy, maybe have a few drinks. It'll be a great time. It'll be a great old time. And Skeletor's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I want to hear about all this fun these kids have like been hammering on about. But no, instead he goes home, sits in his fucking dank dungeon, and I don't know, whatever it is that Skeletor does.
Yeah, I don't think I want to know what Skeletor does alone.
Hold on. So like, what is Skeletor? Like, all right, so he has like flesh. Except for his face.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he is a zombie.
And he's muscular.
Yeah. These are questions I'm not sure I want the answers to. We're like getting close to weird monster sex questions.
He's built just like He-Man, except his skin's blue, but he has a lot of muscle and tissue, and it's very formed. And then his face is just bones. So it's like skin never just grew around his face for some reason.
It's so weird.
I might have to go look up like an origin story of Skeletor and see if I can figure it out. Figure out how he began. There's a theory that King Randor and Skeletor were brothers, I guess, and they became separated. I don't know. Like maybe Skeletor as a human, maybe he fell in acid or something and got deformed. And then left, and then just was bitter all these years, and then just became evil.
Hold on. I might have an answer. Keldor was the first son of King Miro and brother to the current King Randor. He was a scientist, a scholar, and a general. He was also the obvious heir to the throne of Eternia. Unfortunately, now he is dying. As a boy, he and his brother played in King Miro's village until the day that Randor was taken by Hordak's men and half-breed Keldor was to be left behind. Angrily, Keldor had fought the interloper with his sword and nearly killed him, had Randor not prevented him. In his wanderings, Keldor came across a hooded skeletal figure. The stranger explains that he is Death and that Keldor has died. Angrily, Keldor leaps at Death and smashes his skull against the rocks, refusing to die just yet. This is getting really creepy. I'm not sure I like this.
The dark side of He-Man.
Hold on. Finally, Keldor discovers the real Randor, who is surprised to see his brother in such pain. Still bearing love for him, Randor begs to know why he was betrayed. Keldor explains that the rightful ruler of Eternia needed to be brought forth. Keldor exclaims that he is not merely a Gar. He shares the blood of Miro and Randor. He was always second and never first. Randor does not understand his brother's jealousy and begs him to change his mind. Keldor removes his hood, revealing how his face has been decayed and eaten away by the curse upon him, and explains that it is too late for him. All he asks is to not be left to die alone, and that he be forgiven. Sadly, Randor offers his forgiveness of everything and his apology for him not being a better brother or friend. Keldor asks for more forgiveness for his crimes, the crime of killing his own brother. He thrusts the dagger into Keldor's gut and explains that Randor's blood is the key to his ascension. This makes no sense.
This was an episode of He-Man?
Oh, here it is. Entering a portal to Hordak's world, Keldor announces that he has done what was asked. With Keldor's death, Hordak has gained a weapon against his enemies. As reward for this gift, Hordak gives Keldor new life as his apprentice, Skeletor. This is from one of the comics.
So Keldor becomes Skeletor. So Skeletor basically is a zombie then, right?
Axton was right.
Yeah. A 4-year-old was right. Skeletor is a zombie.
A 4-year-old was right from his first impression of Skeletor.
This was all in a comic book?
Yeah, from December 2012.
Okay, because that just, all right, that makes sense. Because I'm like, that's way too heavy for a 1980s series. So
yeah, there's more that I left out. It was getting I was like, whoa. I'm like, come on, where does this happen?
Basically what happened is in the 2000s, people were probably starting to realize the questions that everyone had, like what is Skeletor? So they had to give an explanation as to what Skeletor is, because what is Skeletor? That should be like the longest Jeopardy question in the history of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
All right, so back at the Eternia Kingdom, the party's going on, and I guess the water crystal is fully charged, so they're able to send the two kids back to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And they just magically end up back at their house, and their parents are like, "Oh, we've been so worried about you."
Well, yeah, they get the flying belts from Santa. Yeah. And they're back at their house, hugging their parents. And the parents are like, where were you? You know what? Don't tell us. Because they start telling them they were on a different planet and everything. They're like, okay, you can tell us in the morning where you really were. Just go to bed.
Just go to bed. And then they activate their flying belts and they float off to their bed. And the parents are like, whoa, what?
Yeah. And that's basically the end of that.
It cuts back to Eternia one last time. Adam and Adora are watching it on their screen because they can see what's going on Earth. So why do they need a sky spy when they can just see stuff going on?
Really? Why do they need a sky spy?
So they're watching this all go on Earth. They're laughing. Adam's like, well, whatever you celebrate, whether it's Christmas, our birthday, or any other holiday, have a happy holiday. And then it just cuts to the credits.
Well, no, then you get the lesson at the end.
Oh, what was their lesson? I must have fell asleep for this.
You must have fallen asleep. There's always the little lesson tag on at the end, the educational part, where it was all like, no matter what, it was basically just a repeat of the holidays are about peace and goodwill and love and caring, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter what your religion is, whether you're Jewish or Christian.
Without actually saying it.
Only because people will probably get through this whole thing and be pissed off because it's just celebrating Christmas. And why didn't they celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa?
Yeah, or Festivus.
Or a fake holiday in Eternia.
Yeah.
Our birthday, like the twins' birthday. The most important day of the year.
Exactly.
Where people come from another planet.
I don't even know what happened. I still don't understand what happened in this one. But then, I can watch other episodes, and I know even less that happens, so...
When we originally watched this a few years back, I kind of wanted to answer a lot of questions about He-Man, so I started watching episodes of Masters of the Universe on, Hulu, and the individual 30 minutes episodes are not that hard to get through. just because I think they're quick. They're very easy. They make sense. But for some reason, there was just way too much happening here.
Yeah, there's so much happening. And it was like, what? I don't know what is going on. They just packed this hour full of television, full of like stuff happening because they wanted to keep the kids' attention because they had to see the commercials for all the wild toys that they had.
You had to see all these characters. Like you got to see all the villains, all the good guys. And you're like, I want that one. No, I want that one. Oh, I want that flying treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. Because, you know, you get the gift certificate for Toys R Us. You want to go to Toys R Us the next day and use it.
December 26th. You're at Toys R Us and you see all the wild stuff that were on the night before. And you're just racking them up and walking out the store and going home and playing your own He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special.
Yes, playing with everything you've gotten.
So I give this holiday special a 1.
A 1?
A 1.
Not even a 2 for that creative song?
It was the hardest thing I've ever had to watch in my life. It felt like it was 45 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours.
Was this harder to watch than Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
Yes. It was.
Really?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch was only 20 minutes. This was 45. This was like watching like 8 Sabrina the Teenage Witches.
You know, I think what made it easier for me was that I was watching with a 4-year-old.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
And just like that experience of him watching this for the first time and like his eyes going big and then him getting a little scared and all of that. And then him being all like, first he was like, I don't think She-Ra's cool. Then he's like, She-Ra is so cool, Aunt Cat.
I just remember as soon as the Beast Monster came in, I checked out. I was just like, all right, I'm out. I'm out of this. I'm just going to keep it on. I'm going to listen to it for reference, for podcast sake, but I'm not taking notes anymore. The Beast Monster, the most vicious monster in all the land, and all I have to do is just like trip it and it's defeated. Yes,
well, I'm pretty sure I can expect several more viewings of this holiday season.
Yes, well, I'm sorry for you then. All right, so what are we doing next week? We're still in the holiday cheer.
Hold on. I need to check my list. I gotta pull it up here. Ooh. This is something we just slipped into the list. We're super excited because we've been wanting to do this show.
You know what? After tonight, after the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas special, our brains are fried. I don't know if I can go on anymore. I don't know what to do. So we need to palate cleanse ourselves with a holiday-themed Christmas episode. And the only way I know how to do it is with Night Court.
Yes.
We are going back to the 80s. Marky Post, John Larroquette, the guy who plays Bull, Harry Anderson. Who else is in this?
Just all kinds of people like Marsha Warfield and we don't even know who's going to show up in this episode. It could be anybody.
I don't even know if I've seen this. We're doing the Night Court before Christmas.
Yes, I've probably seen it. I just haven't seen it in probably a good 2 decades.
So it's going to be a wild time. Just definitely listen to it, and we'll see how things go. And we'll laugh, and we'll cry, and we'll clap. We'll love it.
We'll be able to wrap ourselves in the warmth of a John Larroquette character where he's not wasted on a show.
Where can you follow us? Where can you follow our wild adventures?
You can find us online at averyspecialpodcast.com. You can find us on Twitter at verypodcast. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at A Very Special Podcast. And of course, what's the other one? YouTube. Just search A Very Special Podcast.
Yeah, subscribe, like, comment.
Tweet us.
Leave us comments at Apple Podcasts. Tell your friends. Give them the gift of A Very Special Podcast this Christmas.
Yes. Share us, reblog us, tweet us.
And all that fun stuff.
All that good stuff.
Listen to us loudly in your car as you drive to work. Let all the people on the highway hear you.
Well, they would hear us, which I don't know. That could be a little scary.
Yeah, you're driving down the street and you hear like someone pulls up next to you and you just all of a sudden you hear us talking about fucking He-Man and She-Ra. What's wrong with this bitch next to me?
That would be wild if I was like driving and I heard us from another car.
Maybe someday.
That would freak me out.
But as always,
bye.
Watch the Sky Spy.